Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today I want to talk to you about this rucksack. This wonderful little satchel has been with me for several years now. Not as long as my Indiana Jones satchel, which was bought for me by friends when I went off to uni, but rather I bought this after university when I moved to York. I was working at the York Biking Centre, and it's just a nice little satchel to have. It was a good rucksack. It was great for carrying around my biking kit. It was wonderful for going on the train and coming back up to the northeast of England to visit my then girlfriend, my now wife, and it was really good for camping and for picnics and this kind of thing. It's been a real workhorse. I like the colour, I like the size, I like the shape. Everything about this bag is wonderful. But you may notice that actually on the lid of this rucksack are some patches. These 3 patches, a modest collection, are actually what I want to talk to you about today, because patches for me are akin to badges. You may recall last year we did the badge banner together in a live stream, I seem to recall, where I was going through mine and my dad's former badge collection. He's still my dad, and putting them on a banner which now hangs just up there, just out of shot of the camera, just out of frame. But patches are similar to badges, but also different in so much as you have to iron them on, you have to sew them onto things. And over the years, there's been a few important patches for me. This one, for example, is a railway insignia that I put onto my guitar strap, along with lots of other sort of graffiti and stuff. Please just ignore me. Maybe that should be a thumbnail. Or some sort of screen capture. The patches like that I picked up over the years. This one I sewed on. No, I ironed onto here. Actually, it's sort of iron-on glue. There's a patch here which is on the box that I made to store my Resident Evil chess pieces from Resident Evil 2. This is a patch that also I think ironed on or glued on to this converted chess box. I was very pleased with this when I made it. And incidentally, actually, this morning, when I was picking that up, I was reminded about my Stars ID as well. That's not a patch though. That's not a patch on patches. But these patches here are related in some ways. So for example, the Stars patch I actually got, and this one is sewn on with some blue thread, I actually got at the same time that I got my Stars ID from a local nerd store. The Wales patch is one that was important to me when I was living in York, because I was away from Wales. It was the first time I'd full-time lived somewhere else. University kind of didn't count. So I had my little Wales Cymru patch on there just to remind me and of where I'm from, and tell everyone else, I guess, this boy's from Wales. But this one is the really important one. Delamere Forest Foxhowl. And for many years I had this patch in an envelope because I didn't know what to do with it. It's not an iron-on patch, and this one I've sewn on with some green thread to the satchel. But I kept it all those years because it was so important to me. It reminded me of some time away from home that we spent in late primary school. And this was a rare thing. This was a rare excursion in primary school. We spent, I think a week, maybe 5 days out in Delamere Forest, staying at a place called Foxhowl. And not everyone who went on this trip got a patch like this. I got a patch because I injured myself quite badly. So this thing was a badge of honour. It was a little war wound badge. It was a slight medal for me, and also, frankly, it was a nice respite for me from some of the stresses that were happening at home. This was after Dad died. Mum was going through one of her worse than normal bad patches, and this was an opportunity to get away from home for a bit. But Foxhowl was an interesting experience because what really sticks in my mind is 2 things. Number one, I was going through a phase of saying "hey up" all the time. So we would be walking along, and I'd just be practicing. I don't know if you guys ever did this, but when I was a kid, I would sometimes just practice phrases that I'd heard. And I'd heard some blokey men types sort of going "hey up." So we're walking along through the forest, and I'd just be looking at things on this sort of nature hike, and just going "hey up, James, hey up. Look, there's some roots over there." I'd be really desperate to point something out. Of course there are roots in a forest. Of course there are. But it'd be like, hey up. So I remember "A up" being this thing that was like, it was like a phrase earworm that was stuck in my brain. But then we were on an activity where we were making dens. We were trying to make sort of, shelters out of fallen trees and branches and moss and bracken. And bracken, if you've ever tried to really grab like a fern and pull it up from its base, you will do what happened to me, and that is I sliced my hand open right up the middle, and it was truly shocking in terms of just how wide the wound went, how much blood came out, because the base is it's stuck in the ground, obviously, really quite tenaciously. But also, the whole plant is basically designed to discourage animals from eating it. So if a deer wraps its tongue around it and pulls, it's going to hurt its tongue. And I did that to my hand because I was just trying to get some fern to put on the roof of our den, of our base that we were making. So my hand was sliced open. I remember me actually being quite quiet. I don't think I screamed or shouted. I probably cried a lot. But I don't remember really panicking. But people around me were going pale. One boy was sick. I think James Huff was his name. I think he was sick there and then in the forest. And then some of the forest wardens and the teachers rushed over and went, wrapped my hand in a bandage. We went back to Fox Howell, which was the place where we were staying, as I say. And I remember the real pain came when they cleaned the wound. So they poured disinfectant on it. They had to rub muck out of it. I remember I got extra access to the tuck shop that evening. They were like, "You, sir, can have whatever money you've got, we'll double it." So we got more sweets. Maybe they were trying to avoid a lawsuit. Come to think of it, maybe that was what was going on. But anyway, it worked because I was quite happy. And then also they gave me a Fox Howell badge. Now I think they might have been handing out a badge as well to people, or a person who had passed like a nature quiz at the end of the week. I'm not sure, but if you'd listened, to everything that you were being taught, you'd answer, where do the kestrels live? How many owls are there? What does a vole do? This kind of thing. What's this leaf? Then I think you might have got a patch, but I got a patch because I sliced my hand open. I bled on the forest itself, and for years I carried it with me. In so much as I carried it with me, not knowing what to do with it. So I would have it sort of like in my school bag, or I'd have it sometimes in my pocket. I definitely ended up putting it in an envelope by the time I got into high school, and then eventually, when I moved to York, I had this thing in my room, and I thought, I'm going to sew it on my bag as a little badge of honour. Delamere Forest, Fox Howell, I bled for you. And there we go. Badges and patches are similar, are they not? But they also require a little bit more, I think, ritual when it comes to applying them. So whether it's heating up a stick-on patch, or in this instance, hand sewing a patch onto a bag, or I guess onto your shoulder, onto your jacket. They require attention and meditation, and they imply, I think, a deeper meaning than just a badge does. A badge you can sort of snap on. A patch, you need to think about where it's going. It's often permanent or semi-permanent in its place, and therefore it normally is there for a good reason. Incidentally, I went on in later life, or more recently, to hang on, just over here, to design patches for my archaeological business. So this is a Skyrim Archaeological survey patch that I designed. This is actually the prototype. The real patch ended up having a different font and being a little bit smaller. But I went on really to develop quite a love of patches, and patches having significance. So there was a Skyrim Archaeological Survey, there's the Hyrule Royal Archaeological Survey as well. Both available on my Etsy store, by the way. Link below. Will I put a link? Yeah, go on, I'll put a link below. But yeah, patches, if I want to mark something significant, I'll try and get a patch of it, or make a patch of it. And these 3 patches in particular are very important to me, and hence they're on my rucksack. Hopefully this has been vaguely interesting for you. At the end of this week, I'm actually going on holiday. I'm taking 2 weeks off. That said, though, I'm also recording 2 more videos this week for those 2 weeks, so you probably won't notice that I'm gone. But look out for those, actually. One of them is going to be a bit of a treat, in so much as I'm going to be releasing audio from my high school band's EP, professionally recorded album. So look out for that. And also I'll be live streaming as well during those 2 weeks off. So it probably won't feel that much different for you, but I'm really looking forward to some time off. It'll be nice. Time just to look after myself, look after my amazing wife, and basically just relax. That'll be lovely. Anyway, thank you for watching. Until next time, do take care. Bye bye.